At some point when I would hear the word tribe, I would think these are the ladies you just get together with to have dinner or have a glass of wine, and that your kids happen to be in the same kind of sport or extracurricular or whatever. That was my initial takeaway, but now I would say that my tribe is the people that I do life with, the people who I am willing to go out of my comfort zone to be with, to help, to do life with.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blooming Horizon. I'm here with Little Marie.
Hello.
Christina.
Hey guys.
And I'm Nidra. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
We are talking about tribes, community. What is another word for it?
Posse.
Posse. I like it. So Christina, when you think of tribe, what does that mean for you?
Your tribe is your chosen people. It's the one you've hand selected to be
handcrafted,
hand selected into your inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
We talk sometimes a lot about like your relationships in concentric circles. And so depending on the level of your tribe, it could be your most central group of humans that you're interacting with. Or if you are more like, I like my nuclear people family inside my home to be my first inner circle, and then the next one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Lil Marie?
I mean, I like Christina's definition of tribe. Honestly, at some point when I would hear the word tribe, I would think these are the ladies you just get together with to have dinner or have a glass of wine, and that your kids happen to be in the same kind of sport or extracurricular or whatever. That was my initial takeaway, but now I would say that my tribe is the people that I do life with, the people who I am willing to go out of my comfort zone to be with, to help, to do life with.
I think you both nailed it.
Actually,
yeah, great job.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I would also, I think I realize more every day that not everyone has a tribe and all of that. And I want you to know, with having a tribe, it's just like any other relationship. It takes work. And also, you will have conversations that maybe you don't want to hear. You know what I mean? I think that when you hit, like, you're like, okay, this is my person. I think we all have had people that were like, oh, I think she's my jam or whatever. But then also it could be a season where they just don't have the time for that or whatnot. But if you find that person or people and it's the right season, it comes all together, know that there's going to be moments when you're like, oh, I didn't realize, oh, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or, oh, and I think way back, I would be like, it's not worth it. And I just wouldn't continue with that friendship because it felt like too much work.
Yeah.
And I would say, if it matters, you'll fight for it, right?
Well, I think that's a defining characteristic. Like, when it's like, we're not broken up, right? Like when you have like, you have a trying or a disagreement or, just one of those like confusing, I don't know what you're talking about, who are you moments. But you're like, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're not breaking up.
No,
like,
we're not breaking up.
That's when you are in your tribe.
Yeah,
For sure. But yeah.
So how do you find the tribe?
Tribe finds you.
I find you. That is true. That is true, actually, to some.
Yeah, I mean,
because I've gone a lot of seasons without tribe, or I've gone a lot of seasons in networks. These families are doing this activity, or these families are educating the same way, and so we end up in the same circles. But I always knew that this relationship was a function of what we did. And I was aware that I probably wouldn't sit down and have a, hey,
Yeah.
conversation. Still haven't.
So it's the perfect time to kind of tell them how we met, how we all met. I think this is good because I met Christina when we were in college, and I think I had transferred in.
Yeah. Freshly married.
And she was freshly married at like 2 months. And so I came in and I joined, well, I was already in the sorority at the previous college I was at. So I transferred in and I was like, oh, and I love sorority life. Okay. I need you to understand. I loved it where I was in 3 of them and I loved every minute of it. So when I transferred, I was like, it's okay. They have one of my sororities there. I'm gonna be a part of it, and I'm gonna just help out however I can. And so I came in excited and ready to help. And after maybe 6 months, and we became like friends. I was like, when I met you, I thought you were great, and you were so wonderful. And what did you think of me?
Well, probably this conversation came several years down the line.
Okay, that's fair.
But and then to put another caveat on it, we are a fraternal order in there. So like,
Yeah.
So in your mind, you're like sorority life, but it was a music fraternity. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we're super chill. And so, but yes, part of my bridesmaid maid of honor speech was like the first time I met you, we're not the person I would have picked.
I'm
You know, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. I wasn't prepared for the. And she came in hot, y'all. She came in
I
hot.
came in hot.
Those of you who know her in real life, she came in full 100%. I did neederness, and so it just took some balance, some understanding there. And yes, so it was like, well, not my first pick. I like her. She's nice, but it's just you know what I mean. And then just
my heart's warm.
Life see life in,
Good.
and those we've seen each other's babies come into the world
Yes.
from the bottom of the bed.
Literally.
We have picked each other off the floor for different things.
Yes, we have.
So yeah, like it's a slow burn. It's been worth it.
Yeah, I loved her from the beginning. I just want to be clear.
And then you saw Lila Marie speak.
Oh, okay, so Lila Marie is an amazing speaker. You should, or book us all. We're all great. But she was speaking at a church that I was doing like a mom to mom there. And it's just for moms, and then they have childcare. So it was great. I didn't go to that church, but I really liked the people in it. So they had asked her to speak, and she was speaking, and I was writing all the notes. I was crying and snotting. It was a moment for me. So when it was over, I went over and I was like, you were just so great and everything. And, she's just very regal. So she was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It was so lovely to meet you. And I was like, okay. And I was like nervous to go speak to her because she's just kind of fancy. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. And so I went and talked to her. And then when it was over, there was like this awkward moment. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. And then she was like, hey, do you want to like get coffee sometime? And I was like inside. And outside, I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, it's cool. And so I kid you not, I was driving home and Christina actually missed that meeting. So I called her, I was like, oh my God, I met a woman. She was like, you did? I was like, yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going on a play date with her. And she was like, oh, that sounds good. So I go to this play date and I'm excited because she's lovely and she's talking and chatting. And then over the hill, here comes Christina Scott walking over. And I was like,
I had forgotten about it. And you're like, I'm going to that thing. And I was like, oh, I got all these kids. I don't know if I can get everybody in the car. And it was weird. But then I don't know, like, you have that thing inside of you. Like my gut was like, you need to go. Like you've got to go. And so then all of a sudden I was trying to like get everybody. I was like, I'm going to get there. They're already going to be done. And
he was there.
That thing inside of me said, you got to go. This is important.
And then the rest is history. But literally we hung out with her that day. And then the world shut down
Mm-hmm.
the next day.
The very next day.
Yeah, the very next day, COVID shut it all down. And I remember Christina and I talking on the phone that night. I was like, I told you she was lovely. She's like, she is so lovely. I was like, I know. I'm so excited to just get to know her more. Like, it was a moment. And sometimes you have those moments. And I would say, lean into it. You know what I mean? If they're for you, even if you are a little much, and that's okay. If they are meant for you, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Be your authentic self from the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From the beginning.
And that's one thing that I think that I know I really value after so many years of, I mean, just in all transparency, of so many years of masking in order to feel like I was accepted, or having to hold myself to what I thought was an expectation or a standard, right? To enter into a space where I got a chance to slowly peek in and find myself again, and to be able to just drink in the energy, the vibe, the acceptance, the encouragement, the truth speaking. That was really invigorating to me, and it was something that I had been starving for. Yeah, and to finally find home in another person is very humbling, especially if you've known that you've been waiting for it and looking for it and biding your time. It is a gift that's well received, and it's also kind of like amazing at the same time that it finally comes to pass. And so, I mean, I guess I would encourage anyone who is an introvert or has any kind of social anxiety, or is just in a place where they feel like they cannot or should not or don't know how to engage other people socially, just to begin to find that inner courage to maybe do a small step here and there to put yourself out there, because what you would stand to gain far outweighs what you think you might lose, whether it be losing face, being awkward or making mistakes. Go in that courage.
Thank you for that. And I'm a little different because, some people are like, oh, I really like her because she's so nice. She's just so giving with her time. And like, no, I knew specifically that Lil Marie was like, oh, we're going to be best friends, was when I was going through something. I can't, but the main point was, she goes, hey, this could just be what it is forever though. Okay? Like, it could just be this hard forever. Can we sit with that? It was my first hard truth. And I was like, oh. But like, the courage to tell a friend, I see you at your lowest, and then be able to say, and this could just be it. How are you going to build from this, what you already know is just awful? That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to tell a friend that. Yeah. So that's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. So, and then I think Christina and I have been sisters forever, but I think the moment for me was I just had my baby, my first one, and it was a struggle for them to find veins in my arm. Like, they couldn't find it. They just couldn't find them. And it was her and our another very close friend of ours. They had driven up to see me and help, however. And so they were trying to get me to pump, and I couldn't, like, my arms, they were just bruised all the way up. I couldn't even lift my arms up. Like, I would try to lift them, and they were just so weak. Let me tell you what these two females did. As exhausted as we were, one held this one up, the other one held this one up, and they put the pumps on, and we were just standing. It was just literally like this. And it was like, I don't know what time of the morning it was, but it was like, and we're just standing. And so the moment I looked, and I was like, thanks, guys. And what else can you say? They were like,
"You're welcome."
Yeah. And then we went back to quietness.
Just standing there. And then the nurse came in.
Yeah.
And was like, she even took in the scene and was like, wow, this is sisterhood, right?
Sisterhood.
Well,
Sisterhood.
lift you up and lift you.
And assist you. And literally, I just laid there.
And she literally
It's real.
like,
I couldn't lift my eye. Like, I couldn't lift my arms at all. But to say, maybe, your people you're looking for aren't going to be lifting your boobies for you. Okay. Maybe not. But
yet.
you're going to know those are your people when they say, come to my house, and they don't pick up for you. They don't pick up for you. That is a moment they're sharing with you. Like, I'm not going to try to fake this.
Yeah.
Or flip it. You don't feel like you want to pick up for them.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, I'm going to come over. You're like, hey, I just need you to know. It's a mess in here.
Yeah.
And they go, I don't care. You're like, great.
It's okay. And then you really know when you don't say nothing and they just show up and they step over all the
They
things.
just shove whatever off the couch.
Yep.
I had another time I had a really unfortunate event in my family, with a family member, and these two ladies showed up at my front door. I had just come home from, we'll just say, the hospital, and they showed up with some macaroons and something else, and they showed up. But I think that broke me more than anything, because after showing up for, after showing up for other people for so much, for so long, to have someone to show up for you, just to even if you hadn't stayed, if you had just ding dong and there are macaroons, but you showed up in the doorstep, and that hadn't happened in a really long time.
I don't think I knew that
either. Listen, find something that you really like to do.
Yeah.
Anything where you have like-minded people. The beginning of any good conversation is going to be a common interest.
For sure. Yeah.
But it could be a running club. It could be walking. It could be yoga. It could be a book club. Like,
I met a great friend through my husband's board gaming. He's obsessed with board games, guys. And I met a friend through, like, we had husbands that were obsessed with board gaming. And we've gone on trips together and had lots of great fun. So it can sometimes be what your spouse does, and you kind of meet someone that way. There's all different types of ways to go about it. And then how can you nurture that relationship? Because I think sometimes people don't know how to do that. What does that look like? How do you nurture it?
I mean, you can always just set alarms. I'm an alarm setter. So sometimes, because I will just get wrapped up in the day, to just intentionally, like, I have in my Google Calendar, like check in, and just different times of days, different times of the week, just to even help me remember to step outside of myself, because I'm not intentionally not like engaging, but it will just fall out of my field of vision. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, like, that sort of like social input isn't as like invigorating and needed. Like, I love it when it's happening and I feel so refreshed and didn't know it was missing. But like, I would say that kind of drives you, connection drives you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to, especially in hectic seasons,
to
just be intentional.
Yeah. And I think I do the same thing. I often will kind of, if I've had a conversation with someone, I often find myself listening for what their needs are, what they've been going through. I mean, as anyone would if you're having a conversation. But sometimes I'll just follow up, how's that going, on a text or check in, or just so that they know that someone is thinking about them. Because sometimes people, even if you are thinking about them, they may not know, and they may be just trying to do life themselves and figure it out, but just reaching out and saying, hey, I see you, I remember, and I care about, X, Y, and Z. I think that goes a long way. And
I think in that early part too, when you're not like seriously good friends like we are, we've talked about pebbling. So just like when you find something, see a funny t-shirt or a cup or a TikTok or something, and just sending it with no no conversation, no need, just be like, oh, this is funny, let me send it to them. It
Mhm.
also initiates that, like, I'm being thought of.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's a great pebbler. Literally, I wish it was here with me right now. She brought to set like a candle. She was like, it came in a set of 3. And I was like, oh. But then not only did she just go, okay, well, here you go. She was like, I smelled each one. And then I smelled them and then it made me think of one of you. And then she passed them out and she was right.
Yes.
I was like, you can switch, but
No, she hit
this
it
is,
right
I
on.
think this is it.
So I love that. Like it just it warms your heart. And I don't know. Things like that make you feel so loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if they know your love language
Mhm.
too.
I think that learning to live in tribe helps you be your bravest, best self because you know that people have your back, that they're rooting for you, that they're going to
Yes.
hold you accountable. So I think that's one of the greatest benefits, in addition to being seen and to being loved for for your whole self. Because
Yeah.
tribe, you know that you are in a tribe when they see your flaws and they say, really? But but we're still meeting for breakfast the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's tribe.
Yeah.
So you have those two foundational pieces, but then you also know that they're cheering. Have you done X, Y, and Z? Because you said that you wanted to do ABC,
Yeah.
right? And so it helps you become, the person, that you dreamt that you would be when you were little, or that you
Ooh.
hoped you would be. It helps you helps to know that the people holding space for that dream for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
And they'll come on that journey with you.
Yeah.
You know what let me tell you, we sit here today because I had just a little dream. And I said to them, I really want to do this. And I need you, Christina, bless it. I could tell her today, I want to be a clown that just rides on elephants. And she'd be like, sounds
Yeah.
good. Where
Get
do
it
you want
done.
it? Okay, let me go look up where we can even get an elephant. Don't worry, I'm going to be right back. Like that, when you have people like that in your corner, what can you not do? What can you not do? So when I came to them with a dream of this podcast, they were like, well, Lil Marie's like, I've been waiting. She like, it was almost like she just threw off and she was in her uniform ready to go. And Christina was like, what do you need me to do? I mean, like it was like always, she was like, sounds good. Let me look up the thing and let's get going. And so when you have people like that in your corner, you start to feel like there's not really anything you can't do. And once you start that path, you're just like, and then when they tell you something they want to do, because they've been with you on your journey, you're like, let's go. Add it to the pack. We got this. You start to feel like you're the Avengers.
Yeah.
Truly. Truly.
And it sets a great example if you do have younger people in your life. Like, I think as mine are older, I see my older ones placing a lot of emphasis in the relationships that they choose for themselves.
It's good.
And my oldest daughter, like, she has a best friend. Like, she has a tribe of 2 or 3. Do you know what I mean? But she's young. But and I see them being very particular in what they cultivate, and I think it's because they have witnessed this bloom and grow and do things, and so they have a good example of what healthy friendships and showing up and support looks like, because they've seen us all, like their younger ones especially, like, oh, we're gonna take this over, to Auntie's house. We cooked her dinner. Like, oh, she's just having a hard day, we're gonna go do something nice for her. So it also, in having healthy relationships, you're also inviting that into your children's lives, right?
That's
Like,
true.
inviting them into, like, this is important. We put value on this. This helps me get through the day.
But yeah, I think that's really good about setting an example for your kiddos to show them what quality friendships look like and what that looks like. Quality friendships. It's a big thing. Okay, well, hopefully this has helped you kind of think about what a tribe can be, what it means, and leave comments down below if you have any thoughts or you want to add some things. We always like to hear
That'd be
How
great.
did you find your tribe?
Yes.
What do y'all do together that's fun and all that kind of stuff?
Love it. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Looming horizon, we're here to show in the highs and the lows. Let's grow as we go.